I don't have a glass. I have some litter. Okay. Let me go get something to wipe up this before it gets on the camera. Okay, don't spill it when you stand up. I have a lot of problems. Okay. I'll move the camera. I'm not supposed to touch it this way. I have to touch it this way. I am reporting something. I can't touch it with this hand because it has soda on it. Let me catch it just in time. Okay, there it is. I'm going to wipe it up with this sponge. And I'm not going to spill this or this. I have to save it because I don't have more. I'm going to drink it. Technically, it should be thrown out. If it was a restaurant, you would have thrown it out. Yeah. Would you do this in a restaurant? You would have a glass in a restaurant. I'm going to use this here, a glass bottle, and I'm going to do something a restaurant won't do. I'm going to throw it out. I am the only one who used that glass bottle. So that's what's different from a restaurant. Okay, hopefully that's good. I hope I don't spill again. I am threatening myself I could spill again. Okay. Let that dry. Well, the camera is on, so we could just keep going now because it's now. Okay. So I am sorry to Dr. Pepper that I spilled on your time. I'm not sponsored by Dr. Pepper. But I love God made Dr. Pepper. So I wanted to say that in a nice way. Okay, keep going. I just spilled again because it's angry. I'm so angry I can't help it. Okay, I'll pour the whole can in. I have to get up and get this sponge because I'm just angry. Don't spill, Kitty. Who's Kitty? Aren't you going to tell them who's Kitty? Kitty. Okay, more spill, wiped up. And I will wipe up the bottom of the glass, but if it's spilled down the side of the glass, I guess it's going to be a little sticky. I just burped, but I haven't had any of this soda to drink yet. I have to talk about the comments. But not before I say I am not full height. I am between 2 and 3 inches shorter than my full height. and I am also overweight. So I should just worry about myself. Yes, but it's not full height. How do you worry about yourself when you're a kid or child or youth that grew up from the size of a 3-year-old to full height, being 5 feet 6 inches tall, and then shrunk between 2 and 3 inches, and it's staying that way? Yeah, how do you take care of yourself in that scenario? Can you worry about yourself anymore? And I don't afford to be overweight. I just don't afford it. It's spilling again, and I can't help it. No, I tried to drink off the top to make sure it didn't spill because it was too full. It's okay, but it spilled a little on the table. Let me go get a washcloth. I can't get a washcloth. Let me get a sponge. You know, the sponge that I just used, the really ugly, dirty looking sponge, the one that looks like it needs to be thrown out and replaced by a new sponge. Yeah, if you want to watch something like that's ready for the internet, everything new just for the camera, I suppose you'll have to watch something else. I am God deceased here, and I am giving you the bad news is not due. I should not have any bad news to myself because I am myself, but you are giving me bad news that you don't know how to be in my world, even though I have promised you that I am going to decease myself out of the formed world, and I am not going to be your Godhead anymore. And then you have a lower problem than that. You are caught in your genitals, and you don't have the genitals from the Godhead anymore. So who's going to help you with that? Let me get a sponge. I can throw this can out. Well, I can wait. Should I run the water? Okay, I have to run the tap water to rinse the sponge off in case of cockroaches in the kitchen. Yeah. My mom figured, Donna, uh, if she eats, I don't know where she gets her food from, but she's the one who cooked for me when I was growing up, and she's still alive as far as I know, and not cooking for me. And I don't really think I should be touching a sponge. It's not a clean touch for my hands, but I do it because nobody offered to cook for me after she offered to cook for me for 15 years. Okay, this does not look like Dr. Pepper anymore, but let's hope that it's good. Did you see the cream go in? Sorry, the milk. Did you see the milk go in and did it go in and it was because I don't have my glasses on and I was watching it spill, so I wasn't really looking at the delight it would be for the milk to go in there and mix in with the Dr. Pepper. Well, if you enjoyed it, I hope you enjoyed it, but I'm going to taste it and see if it's any good. Wow, it tastes a little like a root beer float. Okay, I will settle down. But not really, because I have to talk about the comments. Oh. WTF files. An image of white male adultery with no hair on the head. Don't know who it is leaving the messages. Why aren't they comments? Well, they are messages in the comments trying to tell me advice. Take your Dr. Pooper box to the dumpster. I don't want you to get in trouble with Fremont Gardens Apartments. And he said, I'm not supposed to tell you that is in Las Vegas, Nevada. How would you like me to unring the bell? In a comment on a video today, he said, good night. Have a good night. It's clear to me that the creation of myself is making the threatening, that it is angry, that you are consuming the threatening. That means I know the creation of myself is not taking care of me, but is creating the things that make me shout on camera. What's wrong with it is I am shouted, not you. You cannot say, I saw a video, I saw you shouted. I saw a video, I heard you shouted. And I'm going to give you some advice. Take care of yourself. Well, you are all like psychopathic serial killers. You talk like a serial killer on the internet. In the comments that I can read with notifications you didn't pay for. The notifications come from the landlording of Fremont Gardens Apartments in Las Vegas, Nevada. They can knock on the door and take away the cell phone at any time. They can interrupt that I am doing this right now. Should I open the door and see if there's anyone there in the middle of the night coming to get this cellular phone, personal communication device, and make sure that I do not post anything further on the internet? Why is that my problem? Why would I need a problem like that? It's being created. Yes, the creation of myself is doing that. But why are you in it with the creation of myself? Why can't you get out? Why can't you get into a jail and prison and get yourself out of the trouble you are in? Before you advise me that I should get myself out of the trouble I am in with you. Do you know what immunity is? Immunity is for the duration of alive. After that, you don't have immunity anymore. The creation of myself is dyed in the money. That means I do see the threatening right here in the formed world, whereas the threatening is due above myself in the heavens, and that you would be in jails and prisons. While you are in the public, you are occupying the threatening and you are consuming the money. Who can afford that? Do you know you extend my life every time you threaten my physical safety? I would not say what doesn't kill me makes me stronger. I would say what doesn't go to jail and prison extends my life. Because you are consuming the threatening that you are not in jails and prisons paying out restitution. Of course not, because there's no one to put you in jails and prisons the way you alive in the public. Do you know that you alive in the public and you alive illegal shunts of human beings around yourselves? That's caused by you, and you're not Jesus. You just make Jesus like wrong to himself that way, that you cause illegal alive human beings in public. By you being in public, you don't have an excuse to say you didn't go to jail and prison for yourself. If you were in the jail and prison, you might even alive someone in public because of your prejudice, and that's your fault, but you're doing jail and prison on that point, and you could get out on parole to find somebody and put them in jail and prison if it's your fault. Then you have to go from parole directly back into prison with a witness that you found somebody that you alived and put them in jail and prison so that you can die in the prison. Parole is not for Shawshank Redemption movie with Red is the name of the character. Morgan Freeman, blackmail, now he's in adultery because he didn't die in the prison. Well, he's black and he's due an African blood prison, but he can be in prison because he's not due really in public. So he was in a parole hearing in the Shawshank Redemption. What is parole? He doesn't know what parole for, and his parole was denied. That means he had a parole hearing that there was somebody not in the prison is why he didn't die already. And he has to go out of the prison to find who that is. That's him needing to be in order to do that. You're not supposed to see a parole hearing unless you made the threat that you know who it is that you need to find and put in prison. You need a uniform to do that. If you are on parole, you need to wear a uniform. Does Noah Ricken not understand the movie Shawshank Redemption? Well, if Noah Ricken didn't want to have a problem that night, he molested me in front of the movie Shawshank Redemption in somebody's house that I don't have the keys to. And I went there as a friend. And if there was something wrong with that, he didn't say that to the girl who left the door open for me to go in there. And Noah did enter himself, but he doesn't have to. He can stay outside if he wants to. Well, he opened the car door for himself. He entered the house himself, and then he molested me in the house. In front of this movie, Shawshank Redemption, with Morgan Freeman, blackmail, adultery, who was inside of a prison. It was a movie about a prison. What is he angry with me for? Is he angry because I'm not going to give him everything he wants for his time? Yes, but I am none higher than me, deceased right here. I am none higher than me because I am myself. I am myself. So it's not due to molest myself because I get angry and there's nothing I can do about it now. I can't fight back because it's public. It's not my order. I'm never out of order when I'm angry. When I'm angry, it's in order. I am angry with Noah Rickett because I don't cooperate with the molestation, but my overlord did it. Yes. Well, I'm angry. That happened right in front of the movie Shawshank Redemption. Does anybody want to see that movie anymore? But it was about a prison, so maybe you should watch it. Well, it did not go very swimmingly with Joellen as a friend between years 2000 and 2025 now. I saw the movie in Joellen's basement with Joellen and Noah Rickett and one more person, Benji Pearlstein to me. I guess he goes by the name Ben when he's older. So Joellen went to state of Oregon, and I never saw her again after year 2000. But I was friends with her at the time in year 1994. So why was Noah angry? Because he could have saved Joellen, was the one who needed the friend. Does he just want to be trouble? Because he ruined Joellen's life to herself by that he never offered her anything that she needed for herself not to be in state of Oregon. Why would she go? Because that's a great expense. Let's say Joellen asked me, she said she was driving a Honda CRV in the year 2002 from state of Wisconsin to state of Oregon. She was going to drive it. Let's say Joellen asked me to give her out of my wallet in my purse in the Mamma Mia's restaurant. If Joellen asked me for fuel money to pay for her drive from Wisconsin to Oregon, let's say, how much money would that be? If she was going to put gas in her car and drive, how much money would that be? I've never driven such a distance in my life. Let's say I didn't have that amount of money in my wallet at the time she announced she was going to make the drive herself. Nope, I don't have that amount of money in my wallet. And I'm the fork. I should have extra money. I should have a lot of money. I'm the one who eats food every day, and I have to pay for it myself at that time. And I didn't have enough money for that. So why was Noah Rickett not responsible for Joellen going to state of Oregon? Because you two don't acknowledge that you need to be in jails and prisons because you are a debt. You are not a high enough being to be in the public and paying charges. The reason I'm in the public paying charges is because that's my order, but you're not really myself. You cannot be jealous of me. You don't have the leverage it is to be myself. You're not myself. It's pointed out. You just don't afford it. You're very small in comparison. You are a teardrop in the ocean. I am the ocean. And I am also all the land. And I'm everything in the formed world. I'm the whole solar system. I'm none higher than me, deceased. I'm also all the creations ever, everywhere, ever. And I alive, all of alive, everywhere, ever. Alive as myself. Where you are a teardrop in the ocean and you're trying to spend money that is mine to myself on yourself. You want me to invest in you because if you have a small amount of jealousy that's not really significant. in the whole scheme of things. If you were in jail and prison, it was due to put that teardrop in the ocean into a jail and prison so that it would pay out its jealousy. You should not realize your jealousy in a life. Do you think Joel and Myra from state of Wisconsin driving to state of Oregon in a Honda CRV, do you think that she has a jealousy that she realized in a life? By going away with some money she may have owed myself and spent it on herself in state of Oregon. But why didn't she just leave it? She didn't tell me where she was. But I don't know if she's in Oregon because I've never been there myself. What was the point of telling me that she's going to Oregon? I have never been there before or since. I heard she was going to the state of Oregon. How am I supposed to know if she's there? Now there are cell phones with area codes that we don't know where they are. All the cell phone area codes, unless you have seen it also on a landline, we don't know. She has an area code for a phone number in state of Oregon, but it could be a cellular phone because I don't know what the Oregon's area code is. I have no idea where she is. She's either on a cell phone anywhere in America or she's in state of Oregon with an area code that corresponds with landlines, AT&T in Oregon. Yeah, but I don't know myself. I've not been to Oregon to verify that. So she saw the movie Shawshank Redemption. But is she angry with me? Why is she not in prison? Does she think I'm never going to go to prison? If she owed me that money and she spent it on herself, I will end up in prison because I don't have the money. Does she want me to go to jail for her? I can't exactly go because it's an embezzlement and I'm not in it with you. I don't have that. I could go to prison for that reason. I'm not in it with you. You did an embezzlement I didn't sign off on. It would be like if we went to in a car, whom I can't be the driver. I can't be in this problem. I can't. Because I don't have that I'm in the car. I'm not in the car. I'm not in Oregon now. I can't say that I'm in it with her because I didn't go in the car and go to Oregon. And she's been living on money in Oregon for 25 years. Did she plan that? How long did she plan to live in Oregon? For 1 year, for 2 years, for 3 years, for all the time it is until I die. You mean when I end all of the time, she's no longer in Oregon after that? How am I supposed to pay for that? That's her being on my meters. That means she's in Oregon, and when I die out of the formed world, she will die out of state of Oregon. What kind of embezzlement is that? Well, how do you want me to get money to pay the charges for the food I've been eating? You want me to see a female is a castration of a male. You want me to have a male which is before a female. Not really. It's like the male and the female is after a male. It's not the male is before the female. I don't know how to say this. Charles Toe is male. He paid a lot of charges for me, but he's male. I am female. That is the castration of a male. So there's no such thing as that a male could pay for anything. He's just a force. No one can really afford because he's not castrated as a female. Joellen is a castration. She is a female. Well, she won't pay for anything for me. How did I get such a lucky hoop penis in my life to pay for things for me? The female is castrated and she won't sexually abuse myself and she won't pay for anything. But she's not the soul. She's not myself. That's the same thing as if you say you believe in Jesus Christ as the Son of God and he's being crucified in that scenario. He hangs on a cross in a church. Do you name that figure on the cross in a church Jesus Christ? Are you sure about that? Are you sure it's not going to be every one of you? Well, Jesus doesn't have a penis, so you're not afraid that you could be crucified because you don't have the genitals of the figure on the cross. Yes, but you did not decease out of your genitals. I'm deceased right here is saying that statement. Jesus Christ Superstar by Andrew Lloyd Webber. It's a musical. I have not seen it. I have seen Cats by Andrew Lloyd Webber. I saw that twice. Thank you, Mom. You want another soda? I am having soda. Get out. So why didn't Joellen see the Shawshank Redemption and say, that is Becky's way of telling me I need to be in jail and prison because I am myself? Instead, she said, if Becky's not in jail and prison, why would I be in jail and prison? And even if she goes, I don't know if I would be there with her. Me, I'm not in jail and prison and alive. I'm not going to jail for you. I don't have a life that way. You stole my house and you burned it down to the ground, and I'm not done. When I am in jail and prison, it will be on time for my genitals to be deceased, and not before then. But you people need to go to jail and prison because you owe restitution. You owe that the money is frozen in the bank and that you not accumulate more money in the bank. You owe yourselves in jail and prison for another point. You have to pay out the debt that you are, and you have identity theft. That means if you're arrogant, that needs to be in jail and prison so that it will burn out. You can't be an arrogant and fattening yourself in public, because that's really what's wrong with you. That's God really not having it with you and your personality. You have a certain feeling about your personality around public, but God knows you. He mixes you in with public because he doesn't like you. You can't hide in public and say you have an excellent personality in public, because God would say your personality is deficient, is mixed with public until you go into prison with your personality to give it back to God that you don't like it about yourself. That means if you don't know what you don't like about yourself and you mix in public, God will say you are mixing in public with a personality that is deficient in divinity. But you are very fat people. You are fat Americans. You go into public where God would say your deficiency is mixing with public. You're not nice people, and there are very many of you that are all together and all not nice altogether. You are supposed to go into jail and prison and try to die in God, and He will create your personality in jail and prison to die. And instead, you are in public and fattening yourself on all the possible food. You're way off point of that. You have arrogance that's due in prison where it can burn down the candle and burn out. To all of the people who ever failed to thrive, to pay out restitution to the banking where I can get it through Donna Moser, my mom figure, if she could get the money to me, if she's not in prison. That's because you have a problem that I'm not in prison, Donna's not in prison, and then you are not in prison if you're not Donna and you still owe me money because I work. I work outside of last name Moser, and you owe Moser name money. You owe Donna money for that she would give it to me. And you owe threatening to God that he not send sex offenders to myself because they're the bottom of the threatening. And I'm not going to help you with that because I'm none higher than me deceased right here. I don't find a sex offender and say, oh, well. I find a sex offender and I say, I find you alone in the wrong. And I tell you exactly what is wrong with you to yourself. And then you have a wrong motive to be a sex offender because I can't fight back with you in public and you know it. I tell sex offenders I'm angry with them personally. And then they sexually abuse myself in public where I cannot fight back. And you're going to burn for that. I don't deserve that as none higher than me deceased. Well, that was very neat. This time I didn't spill from the can to the bottle, but it overflowed. So it's still angry. I have to get a sponge. It's too late. I have to move it with my hand. Okay, now I'm going to get a sponge. Okay, be right back. So, WTF files. White male adultery with no hair on his head in the image. YouTube comments. You owe me $10 million frozen in the bank, and it's not in my name. You owe that you can freeze $10 million in the bank. And if you can't, you owe yourself in prison in advance of this video being in view of public. And that means you are too late. And you don't afford to make another comment, but you can't stop yourself. You're worse than a serial killer that would have had it over with by now. I want to use soap on my hands because the sponge is not clean enough for my hands to be clean. I want more water in my hair because I don't have any water ready for that. My hair is drying a little. I don't like my hair. What to do? It's too late. I got a bad haircut. Well, Joellen is a feminine castration of a penis, but she has some cause of being formed female that is Cohen of a previous world, and that's why she owes money to the soul of the superior founder deceased. She has like illegal alive having to do with Cohen. You might know that as Jesus because he would be Joel Cohen, starts with J, but it's Jesus to you and Jesus Christ to you. She didn't pay that off, and neither did Noah Ricken pay that off, even though I don't know those two together except for the one night watching the Shawshank Redemption. That's all I know about Noah Ricken and Joellen Myroff together. They don't know each other if not for that Noah Ricken was a carjacker, I guess. I don't really want to drive for the DMV, but that was just one of the threats. I know, but I was too young to bank that threat myself. That's how I don't know the creation of myself. I was not yet 18 years old where I could pay for a car accident, and I could even ask the DMV if I don't want to drive because I don't have a car title. What do you suggest about my driver's license? You need to do something about that as the Department of Motor Vehicles. That I have a driver's license to drive what? Because I don't have a car title. I don't have my name on a car title that would give me permission to drive a car. Well, the DMV did that. They absolutely did that. What am I supposed to do? I didn't sign on. I don't have a signature. I'm not even old enough to give the DMV the fee money from the bank to the DMV. I can't. The DMV did that to me. They completely burned me. I don't want this problem with Noah Ricken as the soul of the superior founder. I'm dismissing it, but it's consumed. Noah Ricken consumed it. He did attack my overlord. That means that God above myself is doing something, and it's like worse than coercion. I don't have the malice in it. I didn't make the attack. I need to make the attack. If I need something, I need to be in the conspiracy. You can't just say, you're in a conspiracy because you are yourself. I'm going to say no to that and die. I'm going to leave you with it, and I'm not going to be alive in it with you. I'm not going to be in the mix in deceasement. I will be in deceasement, and you're going to be consuming something like that you hostage something that doesn't conspire because it's deceased. I would need to see that in Superior Founder. That's how I don't know my overlord, and I also don't know the order down here in Alive. It's too low for what I am. So I am deceased out of the order of Alive, but I have problems in my life that are nothing I want to live with in eternity. I need to get angry and put you out of my leverage. And then I'm eternal. But I would not be alive this way again with feminine genitals on the Godhead because it moved the whole creation around some of the things that made me angry right on the Godhead, right on the genitals on the Godhead, that I had to live, with my head, in my head. That I can't do that again. I can't live in my head with my head ever again after I die out of the genitals. So that's how I would say I need out of the order. But I can't say that somebody who's not myself is going to be, something like famous for that. They put me out of my own order. That's meaning to put you out of my leverage. You don't really have a name if you did something wrong to myself. You don't have a name in the consumption because I move the creation around myself, and you don't do that with your name. Although you did that in my life. You did it in my life, you did it to myself, and then it moved the creation around myself, but I'm the one who's doing that. I make it possible. But you do something like put force. It's what I find you in contempt of, but I can't say I need that you hurt yourself. I need to put you out of my leverage because I don't need that you hurt yourself. And it moved the whole creation around myself. So that's how I need to put you out of my leverage. For you, to yourself, for everyone. That is angry elsewheres. So I'm on this song by Misty. Meaner, not misdemeanor. Misdemeanor, not misdemeanor, right? Misty, 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 meaner, Meaner. Did you just molest me in the nipple? Father! No! That's my overlord. Thank you. She's right there. I'm just letting you know there are some things about this Godhead I don't agree with because I have an overlord and she is creating myself. It is creating myself. He overlord up there and right here in the body is creating myself. And it does things I don't agree with because it creates the world. Why don't we agree? Well, it's a lower order that's creating an upper order. I'm none higher than me, deceased right here. There's nothing above me, and I'm being created by something that's beneath myself, and that's how I don't agree with it. So why do you want to molest me in the nipple? Tell everyone, Father. Well, we don't want that to happen again. Thank you, Father. It's my nipple. I have feminine genitals on the Godhead. It doesn't have genitals in the threatening. They are my genitals. But that's what's wrong with it. It doesn't afford its genitals, and it's killing myself in the genitals. I killed my genitals, deceased, but you are illegally alive, consuming that I did that in a disaster. You cannot afford that I find you in contempt of myself. I have you framed because you are something in the wrong to myself, and you don't afford it. I am not able to speak further on that subject. The overlording is not done. I will see you in the afterlife, superior founder, about the overlording of myself, the Lord. You split the Lord into a Lord with an overlord, and I'm the smallest dime of God, and I can't be myself, the order, without an overlord. But you don't afford it because you don't know how to say N-O, no, to things. And you don't afford it because you don't all speak English, and you all must speak English. If you speak any other languages, not English, they are below English, and you don't have a Ford for me. You need that I have an overlord for that. I have an overlord because we don't all speak English. I have a home invasion into my house that also doesn't speak English, but they speak English. So you have that problem. You're below that you can speak English in the lowest level of my life. And I'm living lower than that with an overlord. That means it's not really my life because I have Jesus reported as that he's not alive, and I don't have full custody of myself, so it's not really my life that way. It's a life, it's the life. I'm alive, but it's not my life that way because I don't speak for Jesus is not alive the way the Pope did, and he's not holding alive anymore. Pope John Paul, maybe that's him, or it's the Vatican, you could say, in Rome, Italy. They're declaring that Jesus is not alive. I'm not sure who they're helping because pretty much they're saying I'm not alive because I'm the first and alive. Jesus is not alive is like, if you have to worry about that, you just have to worry about that for yourself. So the crucifixion of Jesus is a blasphemy. Jesus is the Son of God. Well, I'm the Son of God, but I'm not the Son by that. I'm feminine genitals. I'm the Godhead. But I am the same myself. The Son of God is myself, and myself right here is feminine genitals. I'm the Godhead. Jesus Christ, he's the one who formed you, and he's crucified. It's really just a threat. He's not on a crucifix. He's not on a cross right now. He's not bound to a cross right now and hanging in a great amount of pain while you're in alive eating out of the public food supply. Would you be doing that? Yeah. You don't have an alibi. God is in the wrong, deceased right now. WTF Files comments on the Charles Toe YouTube channel. You don't want me to be upset. You don't want me to be angry. Well, what makes you think it's about you? Because it's on camera and it's posted on the internet. And once it's posted, after that, God must create the internet. I don't really do that. I am myself deceased. I am God deceased right here, but I am in genitals. So I'm not creating the internet past that I posted something. It is up to God if it is in view on the internet by somebody else's internet. I don't do that. So if you're reading a message that's meant for God, you should not say I, because you're going to respond for God, because God creates the internet in his prejudice. And if you occupy the threatening that you can read the internet, that's not alive in heaven, that heaven has an address and genitals and is responding to something that is meant for the creation of the internet by heaven. That means I think WTF files, but white male adultery. That's because he's not white doing that, but he is white in the photo image. And then I don't know who's using the actual internet account, but that commentator, he's really highly against heaven creating his genitals, and heaven knows who he is and what he is. And I cannot speak for the creation of himself. He's trying to do a crime on myself, as though anyone, anywhere, at any time can do a crime on myself at any time. And I am myself at any time. That's you not having any prejudice. That's you threatening to rob a 7-Eleven, and there are branches, chain of 7-Elevens. There could be 30 7-Eleven convenience stores in Las Vegas. If you plan to rob a 7-Eleven in Las Vegas, Nevada, with a car, you can only possibly be at one location of 7-Eleven at one time. You can't and you would say, I robbed a 7-Eleven. If you're in the 7-Eleven and saying, I'm here to rob this 7-Eleven, and then they only know that in one of the 7-Elevens, you can only possibly be in one of them. But when you post a comment on the internet and you say, you're going to set off heaven, creating threatening to myself, against myself, and then I should be careful what I say on the internet, because you are yourself a commentator on the internet threatening my address is Fremont Gardens Apartments, Las Vegas, Nevada. Do you know why I give out the address? I don't want to live here anymore. I want myself deceased out of the door locking, but I don't think you should be setting off more threatening than there is that I only live in one of the apartments at Fremont Gardens Apartments Complex. I can't possibly be in all of the apartments at the same time. Just like if you were going to rob a 7-Eleven, you could only rob one 7-Eleven from the inside. You would only be seen in one place at a time with one car parking outside in the parking lot with keys that you could possibly get into one car at once and leave. You talk over the internet and you set explode up in heaven. That it can't make all the threatening you make when you make a comment on the internet, and you are not myself. The soul of the superior founder deceased. I am God deceased right here. You are not allowed to make a comment on the internet, and you have genitals. You are not myself. You are due in jail and prison, so you don't set off the threatening that you are doing that maliciously. You even say that you do that in the comments. What is wrong with you? You belong in prison on that point. I am not going to jail for you because you belong in there like an animal in the zoo.